Spider and the Antelope. There once lived a man who decided to farm. He went out into the bush and chose a place that was suitable. He felled the trees and went home. As it was the rainy season, he realized that now was not a good time to light a fire to clear the bush. And so he waited for the dry season to come when he could clear his farm. One day, Spider happened to find the land. He decided that this was a good place to settle. Spider began to spin his web. Soon his family increased. The land was peaceful and food was plentiful. Spider and his family lived contentedly, unaware of the impending danger. Antelope also wandered onto the land. He too felt that it was a good place to live. The land was fertile. A nearby stream provided a plentiful supply of fresh water. There was peace and calm, and none of the human predators in sight. Antelope also brought his family, and so it happened that both Spider and Antelope made this land their home. The months passed by. The rains grew less and less until one day the dry season arrived. The farmer came out to prepare his farm. He arrived at the bush and made a pile of sticks to light a fire. Spider had just finished a hearty meal of a delicious butterfly and was lounging contentedly on a leaf when he first became aware that something was not quite right. He opened his eyes and listened. The vibrations he picked up through the hairs on his body told him there was an unusual presence around. He lifted himself up on his leaf and looked out into the bush. His large eyes gave him an extremely wide field of vision, but he could see nothing untoward. The grasshopper that he was planning to have for lunch was dancing merrily in the sun. Spider looked at it for a moment. Then he turned. The wind whistled through the bush, swaying the lilies. Antelope was munching contentedly on some leaves. A flock of birds swooped low overhead as they prepared to land on the stream. Everything seemed normal. Spider listened a moment longer. Then he yawned, leaned back on his leaf, and fell asleep. Meanwhile, the farmer had finished collecting enough dried sticks and moss to light a fire. He threw some kerosene over the heap and set fire to it. The fire spread quickly, helped by the dryness of the land and the wind. Before anyone knew what was happening, it had spread wildly through the bush. Now suddenly, where there had once been peace and contentment, the farmer had brought chaos and destruction. Antelope and his family had strong, fast legs that could carry them quickly out of danger. Antelope cried to his family to follow him, and they prepared to race away from the fire, through the bush. Spider heard the pandemonium. At first, he thought it was only a dream, but then he was unceremoniously knocked off his leaf as a young antelope sped past. Spider woke up properly, startled and annoyed. "What on earth?" he began, then stopped. Everywhere he saw animals racing away from the danger. Moments later, he saw the fire savagely scarring the land. It was dangerously close. He huddled his family together and wondered what to do. He knew that his legs were not fast enough to carry him away from the danger. Then he saw Antelope prancing impatiently on nimble legs, waiting to make sure that every member of his family got away safely. Spider called out to him, "Antelope!" Antelope looked down at Spider. Spider called out desperately, "Antelope, please help my family and me. Otherwise we shall perish in the fire." The fire was now very close. So close that the heat and smoke filled the air. Antelope was not interested in what Spider had to say. Saving his own life was far more important. He moved away. Spider called out even more desperately now, "Please, Antelope, dear friend, please help us. I promise I will repay your kindness someday." Antelope turned and looked down at Spider. "You?" he asked curiously. "But you are only a spider. What could you possibly do to help me?" Spider continued to beg Antelope. Antelope was not a selfish person. He looked at the fire which was spreading rapidly. He knew that if he left, Spider and his family would perish. So he lowered his head and allowed Spider and his family to clamber on his back. "Hurry up! Hurry up!" Antelope urged as the fire got closer and closer. When Spider and his family were all safely clinging to his back, Antelope darted through the bush away from the fire. Eventually, they arrived at a safe place. No longer could they smell the smoke of the fire. The air was fresh once again. Antelope lowered his head gently. Spider and his family climbed down, and they thanked Antelope for saving their lives. Time passed. Spider found a place to set up a new home. Life slowly returned to normal. Antelope also happened to set up his new home quite close by. Not too far was a pathway leading to a village. Now the animals have a law which says that animals are not allowed to cross man-made paths because of the threat from the human predators. One day, Antelope was in a haste to get home. He absent-mindedly crossed the path, leaving his footprints in the soft earth. Not long afterwards, a hunter came by. He saw the fresh footprints and knew that an antelope was nearby. The hunter hurried home to get his gun. Hidden by the bush, Antelope watched the hunter, alarmed. He wondered what he should do. Spider saw Antelope looking very worried and asked what the matter was. Antelope told Spider about his careless mistake in crossing the path. Spider thought for a moment. Then he said, "You saved my life once. Now I will save yours." He told Antelope to hide behind a tree. Then Spider brought out all his family. They gathered on the path and began to weave their web. They spun and spun and spun. The web grew larger and larger and larger. It was so large that it covered all of Antelope's tracks. The hunter returned with his gun, eager to start tracking Antelope. He reached the spot where he thought he had seen the footprints, but could not understand why all he saw was a spider's web. He searched the path for the footprints, but could not find any. The hunter scratched his head, confused.
What?
He had no footprints to start tracking, so what was he to do? The animals in the bush kept very quiet as they watched the hunter stare at the ground in frustration. Finally, he admitted defeat and went home. Antelope then came out of hiding and thanked his little friend Spider for repaying his debt and saving his life. From that day on, Spider and Antelope remained close friends. Their story spread through the forest, teaching valuable lessons about kindness, gratitude, and helping one another, regardless of size or differences. The forest became a symbol of unity and cooperation, where every creature learned that together they could overcome any challenge. Spider and Antelope's families thrived, living in harmony and peace, a testament to the enduring power of friendship and community.